Yeah, I don't know what to. We don't start, but we don't start parties till like 3 or 4 minutes. They pull in after like 8:01. We do need to call. We need to call the city. Could you with it and then tell program. Bullets. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay. So then I'm going to move pretty quickly because we've got some great, exciting information to share. And we'll go to Ms. Morgan next.
Good evening, board. It's been a long time. On that, I just wanted to remind us of the great honor that we had in December where our culinary program prepared a holiday meal for you. And I just wanted to recognize Miss Sheena. Chef Sheena could not be here tonight, but I told her that we were going to recognize that we greatly appreciated it. It was delicious. And they are working at presentation and service as well as food prep. And so thank you again for allowing them to provide that to you. It meant a lot to the students to be able to serve our school pork. So I know that was a big deal. On the agenda, I have 4 bullets. So I want to cover those very quickly. If you have any questions, we've covered the first one. I want to give you an update about the wonderful professional learning that we had when we returned from holiday break before the weather found us. We had 3 days of really, really good staff development. And during the break and prior to that, the administrators at the high school worked with our school support person to develop a really strong, high quality continuation of inclusive practices for our staff. So on January 3rd, we all returned ready to learn, and they were amazing. We had Dr. Martha Dodson, who's been with us this is our 2nd year in school support services, helped us with the planning and delivery. And we also asked Kimberly Parks, who's the director of special ed from APSRC, to be part of that. Our staff was amazing. I just want to give you some highlights of what we did on that day as we brought that learning forward and continued it, because you're never done. So as we advance them forward, we taught them about on inclusive practices. We had centers and walkthroughs where they learned to assess how learning can look through different modalities in their classroom, how to model what accommodations. Dr. Langley did a really good job on that with others on how to model what accommodations really look like and what's the difference between an accommodation and a modification. So we didn't just talk about it, we actually took them to the level of deeper understanding on that to make them stronger professionals in their classroom. They actually learn like students, and they can use this quiz with them about learning styles. So they learn how they can address the different learning needs in their classrooms from their own perspective. We also led a universal design for learning where they designed a lesson, and they knocked it out of the park on that. I told Dr. Roberts was really, really proud of the collaboration within the departments and the core teachers and actually designing a real lesson plan for the next week to return. So they used their learning immediately to plan for that. And then the last thing we covered was gradual release modeling strategies. So how can I do, we do, you do, how do we actually show students how to own that learning on their own? So that was on the 3rd. On the 4th, we had some training on finance. We then actually had, let me remember what that next piece was. I went blank. Finance, PBIS. Dr. Langley will talk about that more. I won't steal her thunder. That was a great way to go from an intense PD professional learning into a little bit lighter, and they loved it. They left there with strategies and a system to actually begin helping award points to students for positive behavior. So I'm not going to steal her thunder, but it was really good what happened out of it. And then they had protected time on Friday to actually apply their learning and start working in PLCs and departments and get ready for school. So there's that. Any questions about our PD, professional learning? Okay. And we'll continue that work forward. We'll visit that, and it will continue to grow as it's ready to advance forward in that same inclusive practices. We had to make a little adjustment. I know Ms. Carruthers started iReady winter assessments today. I'm not sure what grade level, but she's kicked it off today. She will conclude the majority of hers this week, but we had to push our window into next week because we had some conflicts because of weather, and also we have semester testing going on at the high school. So just wanted to make you aware, in the next board meeting, we will have the results in reading and math on our growth in iReady winter assessments. Last, I wanted to make you aware that we were chosen as a charter, as a public charter, to participate in the National Assessment for Educational Progress, NAEP as we know it. And I don't know how we've escaped that in the past, but schools are randomly chosen. It's a national assessment pushed out through the federal government. They're usually inclusive of schools that are Title I for sure, but they look for sampling so that they have a very diverse audience in each state. We will not get student level results back or school level results, but it'll be used to help formulate Arkansas' story and the nation's report card. So I'm sure you may have heard of that. If not, I'll show you one in a meeting or hand you one in your next packet so you can get an idea. But what that gives us is a perspective of how our students in our state perform against other states over time, and NAEP's been around a really long time, and the benchmarks are at grades 4 and 8. So any questions about that? No?
You talk will raise Arkansas schools.
Yeah. We've had room to grow as a state, especially in reading, so yeah. I think you touched on it, but we have campus tours here tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30, and then we're also doing another set. So if any interested family would like to come and visit and learn about what we can offer them at the high school, we're offering a second night as well. We coincided the first one with elementary in case it was a parent that was coming from a distance or a younger child, it would be convenient for them, but we've also offered it the next side as well. Had a great, all of our staff, many of our staff will be here and be available for us to engage parents with them in their classrooms. And then you want me to move into the district piece and the next update? So I have an update for you. The first full week of December, we engaged in the new Atlas assessment for science interims. And so this is our outcome. This is a district level. Ms. Critter said she was good with me presenting for us both on this. This is an assessment that is based on the next gen science standards. We gave it in grades 3 through 8 science as well as biology, and that will mirror what the summative looks like. There's a new design, as you know, for summative assessments in Arkansas, and this was our first take on it. It was a somewhat familiar platform. In some ways, we use the same platform for ELPA testing, and so, but it's new content. And it's a new way of assessing it. And we're really proud, if you'll notice, there's not a lot of deep data to share. I didn't give you the high level version. This is the only version this first year. There are no reading and math interims yet because the standards changed in January last year. So they didn't have an item bank big enough to present reading and math interims. They will be there this fall. They assured me when I spoke with Desi today that we would also get more information at the classroom level on these next fall. And we'll be able to look at a classroom level how they did on a specific set of standards. So that would give us a great way, a more defined way of being able to look at instruction and how that could inform instruction more. But as you can see, at every grade level at Arkansas Arts, this is average scores, what you're looking at, average scale scores. You can see that we far exceeded the state performance. So it's not necessarily a predictor of proficiency because they have not yet set performance levels of what that will look like, but it lets you know relative to how the other 25,000 at each grade level participated did. This was our grade levels, about 80 in a grade level at the high school and a little bit more in elementary, give or take. But it lets you see how well they performed when you look at how many they got right, which is average scale score. So we will do this again one more time before the summative. And it's a fixed form this year. It will be adaptive next year, but we'll be able to look at it from the lens of pre-test, post-test, and kind of get an idea of whether or not we had some growth from the time that we measured this in December to the next event. Anything else?
Great, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Do we need to talk about the staff changes? I didn't see that there was a lot to discuss there.
The biggest thing was the fact that we've outsourced our custodial, and that is where the resignations are. We have a new hire in our cafeteria at the elementary school. Elaine comes to us from one of the nursing hospitals, not sure which one. handling their cafeteria prep, so she's fitting in great. We are still in the throes of our lottery, and,
Sorry, can you remind us, what is the lottery?
the lottery is pulling the last Friday of the month. So it's shutting down, February. Which is great because we've now got this education expo kind of more timely based on our lottery. That's why the campuses are working harder in their school tours. And we'll continue after the lottery to continue enrollment. I sent out those of you that are parents, sent out the intent to return, and of the, last I checked, we had about 400 responses already
What are they doing?
with, less than 8% saying they were not returning. And some of those do include seniors. So I was pretty pleased with the initial return rate on that. And so we will continue our push for recruitment.
When are those due?
The lottery shuts down, I believe, the 22nd of February, so we have about a week before we pull it.
Like, did you put a due date on the intent to returns?
Oh, no, I didn't put a due date, but I'll go back in and look at it. I'll give them a little bit of time. You can only submit once, and so it will begin to phase out.
Yeah.
Yes. The next just talks about school choice, and really, again, thankful to APSRC for putting together the expo so we can highlight what makes us unique about arts. And I'm looking forward to that event on Saturday, those that will be there. And now we're next to minutes.
All right. Do we have comments?
We don't have,
Nobody.
we'll have to push it till next meeting.
Okay. We don't have any comments from the public?
No comments.
Yeah,
All right.
so we can't do 6, so unless somebody has questions about the financials, we can talk about it, but we can't approve them. Okay, I might as well put it off, unless you've got something interesting to tell us. Okay, let's do our December staff and students of the month. So, our employee of the month for elementary is Miss Jessica Bogue.
So Miss Vogel, it's her first year with us at Arkansas Arts, and she's already made a pretty big impression on the kids. For example, tomorrow is Dress Like a Teacher Staff Member Day, and I've heard about half the fourth grade is Miss Vogel. When you walk into her classroom, it's one of those classrooms you go in when you need to boost. You know, if you're feeling down one day, go walk in there, and she has her kids doing awesome things. Her kids love her. She loves math. You can tell that she loves math. The kids are loving math because she loves math. And she's just such a fantastic addition to our school. And she's always so excited and happy and just loves being at the school, and we love having her. So Miss Jessica Bogle.
Mini me's tomorrow.
Yes, we do. My daughter's one of them. She bought a dress that looks just like her. She saw it, she said, I need that.
Jessica, remind the board where you came from, like.
Hope Academy.
Hope Academy.
Congratulations.
Please.
1, 2, 3, got it. Got it. We should stay. And before we sit down,
No.
Miss Darla Sullivan is our high school employee. Is she here?
Mel, are you gonna do it?
Do what?
You're gonna,
I'm gonna accept it on behalf of Miss Darla.
you wanna say a few words for Darla?
How old
Yeah.
is she?
Oh my gosh, so she's the pulse of our high school. She's the first line of defense for safety, for everything. And she's been a definite person that impacts the culture. As you can see, our staff agree with that. And so, Ellen, do you want to say anything else about her? I mean,
She's amazing. She has a big background. I worked with her when I was employed at Springdale, and she was the special education secretary when I was there as a teacher. And she loves kids, and she goes out of her way to get to know our students. And not only that, she's just a caregiver, nurturer in general, and she's always checking in on our staff. I've seen her
get coffee for other staff members if they need some. I mean, she just goes out of her way to make you feel welcome and warm. And she's at a different job tonight that she works, and so that's why she couldn't be here tonight. But she loves Arkansas Arts Academy, and she was more than deserving, and most of the staff, majority, voted for her to have this, so well deserved.
All right. We have our students of the month for the high school. Ben Gragg is for 7th. Sophie Hillam for 8th. Sophia LaPlante for 9th. Riley Edwards for 10th. Surrey Bear for 11th. And Malia Jones for 12th grade. We got a bunch of terrific kids at the end. I won't read them all because they're not here to get clapped for.
We have a picture though.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Oh, I love that. Thanks, Sam. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Look at those terrific kids. They're pretty terrific. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We cannot approve the facilities. So I guess we'll skip it for next.
We will skip it until,
Next month.
next time.
All right. And then we also gotta wait for the student interview questions, right?
I have a few questions about that, or
Okay.
suggestions maybe, or just, I don't know how we wanna do this. My only concern when I read through it was to maybe take out some of the more negative or punitive language, and what I mean by that is definitely like there's a place to ask about discipline in OSS. I don't think necessarily, and this is just my opinion, so y'all chime in. I don't think necessarily on this student intake form is where it belongs. I think definitely to ask them, maybe rephrase there was this one, tell me about your current school. And maybe rephrase the ending a little bit. Why are you wanting to leave? They might not necessarily be thinking about it that way, like I want out of my current school. So maybe take that part out, because we also asked them like, why are you interested in coming to arts? And I think the overall objective of this form is to make sure that the students and parents understand what they're getting into. Understand what we offer here. And if that isn't your thing, I mean, I have 3 children. This is one of their things. The other 2, it isn't. And so I think this is gonna help all of us on both sides, but maybe take out the parts about.
Yeah, that's good. That's great
You
feedback.
know, this seems like it might be a really great discussion topic for Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe we should put this on the agenda.
Yeah, we definitely.
Just to kind of rephrase some things and really like, we want them to be super excited about this,
Yeah.
but also getting them to understand what are you taking on, and you have responsibilities. If you're gonna come here, it's not an escape. It's not an escape, it's because you want to be part of an art school.
And that's great feedback, and we can definitely talk about this on Saturday. Part of the vision of this form, and it's by no means complete, is it's a conversation. So it's not given to a student to say, fill out. It's kind of a
Okay, that's my
guideline
misunderstanding.
that the administrators or the counselors or
Okay.
whoever, we're gonna have very specific people that are gonna be having these conversations that just kind of go through and as they're talking, kind of taking notes.
Okay, that's a different.
Yeah, because this would be way too much to give someone and say, fill out. But, and there are some questions that might not be addressed because they're in the flow of things and they're already been addressed somehow else. But when we put this together, these were some of the ideas that we came up with, or that came up as far as what information would we benefit from knowing. But again, we can.
As a parent, I think if I'm sitting in front of a counselor or an admissions coordinator or someone talking about whether or not this school is the right fit for my student or why I want to come here, I think if my student was trying to get away from their current school because they were in trouble a lot, I think I would be
instantly defensive at some of these questions. And we might be able to gather this information. I mean, when we get school records, we're gonna see their discipline. I think when hopefully on our application somewhere, it asks, have you ever been OSS or expelled? Hopefully that might be a better place for that. Also, on the flip side, if my child just hasn't been in trouble and is looking for more challenges and an art school, I think if you're starting to ask me about bad behavior, I might also kind of cringe a little bit and be like, oh, why are you asking me that? So those were the only ones that I just was unsure of whether or not those questions need to be asked. Is this the right place for it? Was my only concern.
Totally understand. And we can revisit this on Saturday, for sure. Thank you. Aaron, I think you have some to tell us.
Yes, have some news. So if you remember, I opened this academic year with a gift that we had received from Glenda Bailey. The same day that I brought that wonderful artwork, everything that was here was going through, I received a call from Mr. Paul Padzukas 4 years ago. He had made a small donation to Arkansas Arts Academy, only because he had heard so much about this school. Has no connection to this school, has lived in Rogers for 55 years, was a sculptor. You can see some of his work there, phenomenal sculptor, 35 years in Alaska, Ducks Unlimited member, a number of different things. And he thought, what a fantastic opportunity for kids and individuals to have an art school. And he and his wife gave a small donation 4 years ago, and they wanted to come visit. I said, oh, please do. Unfortunately, she fell ill. He called me the day after this past year to say, do you remember me? I said, absolutely. He said, we did this, and I gave him a little report. Well, my wife has passed, and I'm in stage 4 cancer right now. And so I want to let you know that not only do I greatly appreciate what Arkansas Arts Academy is doing, I want to help contribute. So his estate is going up for sale, and he put in his will that 75% of the estate will go for scholarships for art and art education for our kids. So working with the foundation that we have established here to ensure that once upon the sale of his estate, that we will be able to kind of then make sure that we have everything legal of all of his wishes. And it was just unfortunate that it went so quickly. I went to go interview him. I wanted to have him have an opportunity to see the kids. Never got a chance to even come to the campus. Was making a film for him during Christmas, and unfortunately, he passed away before that time. So this is just another individual that sees exactly what we're trying to do here and wants to make a big difference. And we greatly appreciate Mr. Paul Padzukas and his family. Unfortunately, there's no other family except for one niece that lives in Colorado. So we'll be taking some of the art supplies that he did have and then distribute those between the elementary, middle school, and high school in the visual arts department. But I want to take this opportunity to let you know we have another phenomenal member that has celebrated the arts here in our community and wants to give back to us. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Ellen, you have good things to tell us.
Okay, hopefully this is gonna work. All right, so I provided you with a full scope in the packet that you have of the climate surveys that came back. So in regards to what I'm gonna go over tonight, this is just the high school's information. So you're gonna have the full report of all the demographic information and the data collected from the student surveys, the family surveys, and the staff surveys. So all of those different stakeholders. And kind of to give you some information, the reason we went through this is the high school is part of what's called BX3. This is capacity building. It is trying to develop and coach and train parties to be behavior interventionists and to develop student success teams through behavior intervention. It's a tiered model, just like if you think of RTI, it's the exact same model, except not just based off of academics, but on behavior and the interventions that you can get out of that. And so this BX3 party that we have has 2 behavior specialists that come in from the Arkansas Behavior Corporation, and they come in and work with us and train us on different supports. They coach us through goal setting about tiers and how we look at data for behavior and different things of that nature. So our climate surveys, for the high school, had 328 students respond. That's 77%. I thought that was great to have that many student responses. We had 38 responses for staff. That's 83%. And then 52 families responded to the survey. So very briefly, I've just noted a couple. There's a specific reason why I've chosen these ones to share on the big screen. Again, all this information is going to be dissected more deeply because we don't just want to throw a survey out there and then do nothing with it. We truly want to take the data, develop it, and use it in a way that's going to better our school and our culture. So I'm going to go through, it's going to be student responses, family responses, staff response about the same topic very quickly. So I feel like my school has high standards for achievement. You'll see there, students mostly around the 3, and the Likert scale was 1 was strongly disagree, 2 disagree, 3 agree, 4 strongly agree. And that is the same Likert scale all the way through. So this was the student response. Here was family over the same question. So we're around a 3 kind of everywhere. And here was staff response. So most agree that we are and that we do have high standards. When we're talking about behavior, because that's what BX3 touches on, specifically behavior, my school sets clear rules for behavior. Again, a 3 student response. Looks about the same for family. This direct question was not asked to staff. So what I did was I picked the one that most closely correlated, and you'll see where it comes into play in a second. Students at my school treat each other with respect. A 3 there as well, so most agree. Still, we're not at a 4, so there's still room to grow. That's the important part of this. One last question to kind of go through. Students are frequently recognized for good behavior. This is the one that caught my eye. Students did not feel that they're being recognized for the good behavior they are displaying on our campus. This was a big shocker to me when I saw this, because when I talk to staff, I hear all the time, they're doing amazing things, they're doing good things. But the students, according to this, and I'm going to assume, of course, that they are being honest, don't feel that they're being recognized for those good things that they're seeing. Here's what family thought. So not exactly the same, not the same idea. Here's what staff thought. So families and staff seem to be kind of on the same page on, they did feel like students were being recognized for good behavior, but students weren't feeling that. So what did we do? We've taken this information. It's important. PBIS. This came from the counseling grant. Navigate 360 was purchased with the mental health side of things through the grant that was written by our counselors. This is a section that was bought through that. It ties and correlates specifically with the counseling team. But this, you've probably seen information going out about it on social media and things like that. Both the ES and the high school have a behavior matrix. Ours is arts, theirs is heard, right? Heard, okay. And so what's happening is that we have been teaching the students during advisory about each of the environments, and not rules, but expectations. So they're not written as do not run. It's written as walk slowly, or, it's written in the positive side of things. And so what's happening is that every student on the high school campus has a QR code in the back of their ID. So that also promotes wearing your ID every day to school. And it has made a difference on them having their IDs. If we see them doing positive things in the hallway, classroom, anything like that, teachers and any staff, it can be cafeteria workers, it could be Ms. Darrow at the front desk, any administrator, we can scan and assign them points based off of the arts. which I added the one about respectful because that's the R for arts. So we have accountability, respectful, tenacious, and safe. And what do those things look like in all the areas? We have already had literally thousands of points given away. For each, we divided them into houses. They're kind of based off of mythical creatures. We have Minotaur, Loch Ness Monster. Everyone's assigned to a house, so they're kind of in a competition on who can earn the most positive behavior points to be the house leader. And if they are the winners at the end of the semester, they're going to get some sort of prize. We'll decide on what that's going to be. But with the points that they earn, students can then request to earn fun things or purchase things from our school store. Something as small as let me buy an eraser to something as big as duct taping a teacher to the wall. Like just funny different things, all sorts of, can I have lunch with the counselors? Can I buy a mechanical pencil? Can I choose the music in the dance classroom to warm up to? I mean, it's a variety. There's tangible prizes, there are privilege prizes, and there's one other one that's escaping me now, but also things like events. They can use their points. Maybe and this is what I really like, maybe there's a student that can't afford a prom ticket. They could use their PBIS points to purchase a prom ticket. Something of that nature. So just awesome ways of thinking about how the positive behavior is what is now being shown and what's being talked about versus referrals. And I don't have the exact numbers. I'm going to get this to you at a later time when we've kind of had a few more months with PBIS, but we have already seen a decline in office referrals since this has started.
That's awesome.
So what's the next steps? Our BX team, which consists of teachers, it consists of counselors, and it consists of admin, all together, are going to meet and review the rest of the data that you have, the full extent, and develop our next steps for growing school-wide culture and commitment. Again, this is mostly based off behavior, but those climate surveys go into more than just behavior. They go into safety, so lots of data that we can get into. And the BX teams are also going to look through the positive behavior interventions and then also review the behavior data that does come through ODRs or office referrals. And that will set us in place on what type of intervention is needed in getting kids into tier 2 or tier 3 interventions. So that's kind of just a quick, I didn't want to take up too much of your time, just a little quick overview. Y'all have any questions about anything?
Ellen, do you want to talk about the app that parents can get?
Oh, for sure. It is called PBISR, so Positive Behavior Intervention Strategies Rewards, and then it's family. So you'll see different apps. There's a student app, family app, and staff app. We sent home letters to individual letters to every single family that has a QR code that the parents can download the family app, scan that QR code, and they have all the data in real time and see the points that their student is getting. It also has where they can see the comments on why a student is earning the points. So for example, I have substitute teachers that when they come in, if they want to give points to a student, I have them write down the students' names. They'll bring it to Ms. Darla at the end of the day. I will go in and I will say, the sub recommended you for points and write why. So then that can pop up on the parents' side and they can see those comments and notes and see all the positive things.
Thanks, Ellen.
Any other questions?
So we applied to be part of the BX3 through a pilot through the Department of Education. So it's a free pilot program that we're working on, and it's been incredibly beneficial. So it's really great that we've got something that's sort of scaffold like both campuses for positive behavior.
Do we have any discussion of items?
The only discussion I was going to bring forth was the snow day calendar adjustment. But we can't, well, we can talk about it on Saturday, but we'll bring it back in the next meeting to vote.
How many days have we used up?
We have 5.
And have we used them all?
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, actually, we had 4. We've used 1 extra. So I sent a survey out to staff today with just some wanting to get their feedback on how we wanted to disperse them and how we wanted to use them. We have an option of using President's Day, take 1 day, and then intercession, and then the 4 days at the end. So I'm gathering that data. We can talk about it on Saturday and figure out how we want to do it. It's hoping that we don't have any more other days.
I don't know, we haven't made it to March yet. Anyway, should we go to executive session?
I don't have a need unless you do.
Dr. Roberts, do you mind if I add my little piece or should I wait?
No, go ahead, Meredith.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I've got college and career updates. It'll be super fast.
I have to tell you, I was super excited to see the picture of the child who was going to work on a submarine in Antarctica.
That is so cool.
It's so awesome. So this is a list of all of the students who have been given offers from colleges. I won't go through all of them for the sake of time, but the ones in green mean that they have accepted that offer. So the fact that we already have students accepting offers is a pretty big deal and really exciting. 2 for college and then the Army. And then on the back is an update on the student success plan progress. So me and the other counselors went into the English classes, career development classes, and advisories in the weeks before Christmas break and started with the student success plans. And so we've got that middle number in the chart is how many have started it. And then the percentage on the right is how many have completed it. And then over the next 2 weeks, I've already sent out calendar invitations to all the students who have not completed it to finish that with them. So most of them have started it, but we're just in the process of wrapping it up. A lot of them got lost in the academic planner and like got really into it. So I had to pull them out a little bit because they were so excited about classes. And then if you're just curious about what's in the student success plan, I included the checklist that the students have to fill out. So there's a character tab where they have to take an interest profiler, which is basically like a career assessment. So they're answering questions about themselves. It tells them a little bit about their personality, and then it gives them some career options that might be a good fit for them. And then they can research those careers. They have to choose 3 careers that fit with what they're interested in. Then they have to heart or like 3 universities. There are thousands of universities and careers in the system, so they could spend hours and hours. Some of them went home and were working on it. It was really cute. And then they have to have a post-secondary goal. And I gave them an example you can see there of just a really short, my general goal. And then they have to have 3 programs or majors that they're interested in. And then last is the academics tab where they're planning out their courses for however long they're at Arkansas Arts. So it's pretty thorough. And the kids, for the vast majority of it, seem to enjoy it. So that was good. It was fun to do. So. And I'll update. We're going to get that number to 100%. So when we do, I'll be back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have a need to go to executive session?
I have one more thing and I almost forgot. I'm so sorry. I gave you a handout and we can discuss this more when we have the full board. But this is from Arkansas Tutor Corps. And that is an organization through the Department of Education. And it's housed at the 9 different renewal zones in the state. Our closest one is U of A Fayetteville. And basically, we're putting out an all-call request for tutors. So if you are a retired teacher, if you are in any kind of ed program at a university, if you have your certification, I believe, in any kind of education, they will pay you to go through their tutoring training program. I think the total amount is like $3,000. And then you get to be you are certified to be a tutor in any Arkansas public school. So we are putting that message out. We applied for a high impact tutoring grant to the Department of Ed. And if we get that grant, we will actually have some stipends to pay the tutors once they are certified to be in the classroom. Another component is they will also pay high school students to get training. Their level of training is not as intense as an adult, and they receive, I think, $800 versus $300, but they don't go through the layer of tiers of training. Mm-hmm. But then they can earn their community service hours as a tutor in a K-8 environment. So we're working with U of A on sharing that message and trying to increase our tutoring pool of potential certified individuals.
And
The intention is to use the tutors in the classroom or after school?
In classroom, small groups, one-on-one, one-on-two, just as a sort of a reinforcement to the classroom teacher. Anyway, that's all.
So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.